Hey everybody, it's Abby. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be doing 3 looks with the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. So I did the first look a couple days ago, and then the second and third looks I did today. So I'm wearing the third one right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. I'll do a voiceover telling you what I did and which shades that I used. So if you haven't seen the full palette yet, here it is. I didn't quite use all of the shades in all 3 looks because there's a lot of shades in here. But I used the ones that I was most excited about, or the ones that I kind of wanted to use. I wanted to use Donor and something, but I didn't quite figure out where to put it yet. I thought about it today, but that would have been a little too much. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Now I'm going into the first look with the Blood Sugar palette. And I'm taking the shade Cake Mix and putting that all in my crease and blending that out pretty well, just to give a base kind of as a transition. And I'm taking the shade Prick, putting that in the outer corner and a little bit into the crease just to give it some more color, just because that one is kind of neutral. These do blend easily, but I just keep blending just to make it look better. You can't blend too much, I don't think. Now I'm taking the shade Extraction and just deepening up the outer corner a little bit. And also putting that all over the lid area. And now I'm taking the shade Intravenous and putting that directly into basically my eye socket. And just to deepen up that a little bit. Now I'm taking Extraction again, putting that under the lower lash line. Now onto the shade Candy Floss and putting that all over the lid, just to give that a little bit more shimmer, because a lot of the shades in this palette are matte. And now I'm taking Glucose, putting that in the inner corner and under the brow bone. So there is the eyeshadow on. And now for some liquid liner, I'm using this one from Milani. Actually, no, it's not Milani. Sorry, Wet n Wild. And then now I'm using the shade Celebrity Skin in the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipsticks. This is a mini one from that first nude mini set. And there is the finished look. Now on to look number 2. I tried to go a little bit lighter with this one, so I'm taking the shade Sugarcane, putting that through the crease. And then I'm taking the shade Tongue Pop, which is similar in tone, but it's a little more peachy and not so neutral. Now I'm going into the shade Intravenous just a tiny bit. Go easy on it. The shades in this palette are super pigmented. Then I'm taking Intravenous again under the lower lash line. And now going again with Candy Floss. I didn't think that I did that twice. And I was laughing because I was watching Christine Sedelko, her new podcast. It was pretty funny. I don't remember who was the guest, but I'm just putting that all over the lid. And now I'm taking Glucose again, putting that under the brow bone. And now I'm taking this e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick in the shade Perfect Pearl, putting that in the inner corners. I wanted to use something a little more cost effective because this palette was not cheap. It is a good value, but it's still not cheap. And then now I'm taking the shade Skin Tight from the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipsticks, and this one again is from that mini set. And I think he did make this permanent. And I'm putting on 2 coats because it is pretty light. And there's a finished look. I'm so upset that it's really blurry, but you can check out my Instagram if you really want to see it. Now look number 3. I'm taking the shade Root Canal. I was kind of scared of it, but it actually turned out really well. I like the color, and I wanted to play with a little more purple. And I'm blending this really, really well again, just so there were no rough edges. And then I'm taking the shade Blood Sugar. I'm really excited about this. This was probably the shade that drew me in the most with this palette. And I kind of did a faux cut crease type of thing with it, where I was careful to make like a solid line with it, you know. And now I'm taking the shade Coma and blending out in the outer corner, outer V area. And then also, I believe this was Coma in the under the lower lash line. And then now I'm taking that e.l.f. shadow stick again. There's the eye look. I really liked how this one turned out. Just the purple and the red together. And then this lipstick is the shade Androgyny, again, from that mini set. Because it is a pinkish purple mauve kind of color, I thought it would go pretty well. But you could use pretty much any of his nude lipsticks with any of these looks and they would look fine. So that was it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, if you want to see more looks with this, or if you want to see just color combos. And what I think is interesting with this palette is that the shades don't look 100% like they do in the palette. So a lot of them are a lot brighter than in the palette. So like this, the shade called Prick right here, it is really bright. This one kind of turned more pinky today. This one is really, really pink, even though it looks like a brown in the palette. Which, it's not bad, but it's, he even said, like, if you swatch them, oh sorry, I'm looking at, I got some underneath my nail on accident. But he said if you swatch them on your hand, they don't look like they do on the palette, and they also don't look like they do on the eyes, because these are pressed pigments, so it can look a little bit different. Also, I did want to mention, I mentioned this in the haul that I brought this, that I put this in, but a lot of these shades are not technically eye safe, which basically that just means it's not like you're going to die if you put them on your eyes, but these are mostly, I mean, you know, red and pink and purple eyeshadows, which generally in normal eyeshadow palettes are made with carmine, which is not vegan, and Jeffree Star's makeup is vegan, so they have to use red dye to get those colors, and red dye can dye your skin. So if you have really sensitive skin, or, you know, whatever, if you're just sensitive to stuff with red dye in it, it can stain your eyelids. It could burn just a little bit around your eyes, so just be careful and maybe test it out one day just before you wear it, you know, for a full day or whatever. But I haven't had any problems with that. I haven't even had any staining with these. I've only ever had staining in eyeshadows with a Morphe palette. So yeah, I've worn like the bright red, like the shade that I think would probably stain would be Prick or Cavity, but I haven't used Cavity yet, but Prick did not, and yeah, I think Cherry Soda didn't either. So it just depends on your skin. So if you're like have extremely sensitive skin, I maybe would avoid this. But other than that, I think it's a great palette. It blends like a dream. It's like magical. It's the best blending palette I believe that I've ever had. Except, like, I just have problems personally. If you've seen, I think in the last look that I did, yeah, it was this one. In like the inner, going toward the inner corner, like, but still in the crease, it skips, like, it has little tiny lines in it. I think it's just maybe where I don't blend my primer good enough, but my eyeshadow, like, doesn't blend well over that, so I have to go back over it and back over it. But other than that, it's perfectly fine. Like, I didn't even use a transition shade today, and it blended perfectly, so yeah, let me know what you think in the comments if you have this palette, if you're interested in it. Yeah, I'm just glad that this is permanent and I was able to get it. I appreciate that he doesn't make palettes limited edition, because it's annoying to me, and I'm not going to buy any more limited edition palettes because I want you guys to be able to get them if you like them when I use them, or if I want to use one in a look later on, like, you know, 6 months or a year after it's released, then it's still, you know, relevant. Anyways, give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.